Hello, I'm Gloria Anderson, and I'm glad to be with you again. I'm going to be reading the story, Jesus Blesses the Children. Jesus traveled all over the land, telling people about the good news of God's love. One day, Jesus was talking to a large crowd. It seemed that there was always a crowd. The children had to stand on their tiptoes or sit on their parents' shoulders just to see Jesus. People were everywhere on the grassy hill, laughing and smiling and waiting for Jesus to tell them more about God. God loves you and you and you and you, Jesus said. He wants you to love all people. One mom said, I want my children to hear what Jesus is saying. The other parents wanted their children to hear Jesus too. They moved closer and put their children down on the grass. One small boy tugged on the corner of Jesus' robe, and Jesus turned around. Ah, Jesus said, smiling, and he bent down to hold the hands of the children standing nearby. But the disciples scolded the parents, saying, What do you think you're doing? Jesus is too important and too busy to talk to these children. Move your children back. When Jesus heard the disciples say these words, he stood up and turned back to the grown-ups. What do you mean? Jesus said to the disciples. These children are as important to me as you are. I want to bend down and look in their eyes and tell them about God's love too. Never stop anyone from coming to see me, especially children. Let the children come, sit on my knee. Children like these are part of God's big family too. Then Jesus knelt down to look at each child in the eye. Come sit with me, Jesus said, and I will tell you about the love of God, my Father. Jesus sat on the grass with all the children and told all of the girls and boys about God and God's family. Then Jesus put his hand on every girl's head and every boy's head and blessed them, saying, Remember, God and I love you just the way you are. Then Jesus stood up and said to all of the grown-ups, Remember my words. Whoever does not love God like a child won't be part of God's family. And as you look at this picture, here's Jesus blessing the children. And today, I'm going to show you what it's like to bless someone. David is going to come in and we are going to bless one another. It's something you can do to one another. It's something you can ask your parents to do at bedtime. When you leave the home and you want a blessing, it's something to do. It's a ritual that you can do. And it's a very meaningful ritual to be blessed by your children, parents, and children to bless your parents. So today we're going to use the blessing, you are God's beloved child. And I'm going to show you how you can do this on the forehead. David, you are God's beloved child. And I mark the cross of Christ on his forehead.
Another way we do it on the hand. Gloria, you are God's beloved child. Another blessing that we used when our kids were growing up was taken from Colossians 3. And it's, may the word of Christ dwell in you richly. We think that's a great way to go to sleep. May the word of Christ dwell in you richly. Thank you.